guys, welcome back. We are doing lesson 2 for Wit and Wisdom. Remember, our essential question is, how do people respond to the powerful force of the wind? Our focus question for today's lesson is, how is wind a powerful force? So let's get busy. Okay, our focus question is, how is wind a powerful force? I need you to act out force using your hands. Now think about, what did we use our hands to do the other day? Did we not place our hands together and push really, really hard? Yes, that is an act of force. Pushing against something is a force. And also pulling something is a force. So what I would like for you to do is, I want you to write that word force in your journal. I've lost my marker here. There it is. I want you to write this word right there in your journal, and I want you to write push or pull beside it, because that is the definition of the word. And then I want you to draw a picture of push and pull. And you know what comes to my mind when you do a push or a pull? I would say a tractor pull, because you can see tractors pulling something behind them, right? Or a truck pulling a wagon, or even you pulling a wagon, right? Mine is tug of war, because you have two sides pulling a rope to either side. So that is a force, okay? But you can draw whatever you want to draw to describe force. Okay. So let's put that away. Let's move on. All right. So what do we do first when we read a book for the first time? We check it out, right? We look at the front cover. We look at the back cover. We check out the inside if we can read it. We look at the pictures. Okay. That's called noticing and wondering. Noticing and wondering. So let's think about, what did we notice and wonder about feel the wind? Think about that. What did we notice about this story? We noticed that wind is very powerful, can move things, right? And then it also brought up questions to how powerful is it? And things that you didn't know about the wind. But today, we are going to go deeper into this lesson about feel the wind and see if we can figure out why the wind does what it does. So let's ask some questions to clear up some confusion. Let's look at our speaking and listening chart. Okay, now remember, when talking or listening, these are our goals. Our speaking goals: respond to what others say, speak in complete sentences, ask for more information. Our listening goals: our whole body's listening, we notice pauses, we ready our bodies, and we listen for new ideas. These are our goals when listening and speaking. All right, so let's think about the equator. What does the word equator mean? Now, we talked about it in our lesson, the equator. And if I read the page about the equator, let's see if we can figure out what it means. It says, in tropical parts of Earth near the equator, the sun's rays strike the Earth directly. The air gets very hot. Near the Earth's icy poles, the sun rays strike at slant, so the air stays cooler. So what do you think the word equator means? I see the sun and hot close to that word equator. So could the word equator mean something that is hot? Yes, because it is an imaginary line right there on the Earth. We can't see it, but in diagrams and on the globe, you could see it as a line there, but you couldn't see it if you actually went there. But that is the warmest area on the Earth. If you go to that line, that is the warmest area. And if you move away from it, it gets cooler. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to generate and ask questions about our story, Feel the Wind. Okay, so I am going to take this off and we are going to work on our chart together with some questions and answers. Okie doke. So some questions that we could have about this story. What does electricity mean? Okay. Another question would be, how does the wind change rocks? That's a great one. How does the wind change rocks? Doesn't the wind pick up the little pieces of rocks and blows it against the bigger rocks and smooths it down and creates holes and things like that? Yes, it hits the rocks and wears them away. Okay. Why does strong winds blow like in a hurricane? Okay. Why do strong winds blow like in a hurricane? Well, that's one thing we'll have to find out, won't we? Where is the equator? Where is the equator? It is right smack dab in the middle of the Earth, but we can't see it. Because it is imaginary. Okay. What about hot and cold air make wind? How do hot air cold air make wind? What happens with the hot air and the cold air? The hot air, what? It rises and the cool air moves in. And that causes the wind. Okay. Take this down. All right. It says, what do you wonder about the text? And it says you're going to generate questions to put on questions and answer chart. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to share the video with you. So you can see that.
One notice and wonder about this text. In the last video lesson, you noticed details, and today you're going to ask questions. But before you ask your own questions, you're going to think about the purpose of asking questions. So think about this question. Why is asking questions important? One more time, why is asking questions important? In our work today, you'll be thinking about why it is important to ask questions about a text. As you're trying to figure out what's happening in a text, you may need to ask for more information, and you should always feel comfortable asking a question about a detail you are confused about. If you're confused about something, it means that it's difficult to understand. One way to clear up confusion is to ask for more information. For example, one thing that may be confusing is when you hear a word you don't know. Listen to this quote. The sun's rays strike the equator directly. That's why it gets hotter there. I wonder, what does equator mean? What does equator mean?
And we know because we've discussed it already.
Now, I see the words sun and hotter close to the word equator. Could the equator be a place that is hot? What do you think?
I think
Now I want you to think. What words can we use to ask questions? What words can we use to ask questions? I'm sure you said it. Question words. These are question words that we have used in our previous modules. Let's review the words. Why, who, where, when, what, how. I I am going to reread excerpts or small sections of the text, and you are going to use these words to come up with questions. Are you ready? I want you to listen carefully as I read aloud pages 5, 6, and 7. If you have the book, you can read along with me. Otherwise, you can follow along on the screen. As I am reading, I want you to think about what questions you have or if there was anything that was confusing. Listen carefully. Have you felt the wind blowing through your hair? Wind is moving air. Air is what we breathe. It is everywhere around us, even though we can't see it. We can't see air and we can't really see the wind, but we can see the wind move things. Wind pushes clouds across the sky. Wind flutters the leaves of trees and makes ripples on lakes. You can hear the wind too. When wind blows through cracks in your house, it can sound like someone whistling. If the wind blows very hard, it can sound like a wild animal howling. What questions do you have? What is something that you wonder? Was there anything confusing? Here's something that I wonder. What makes wind? What makes wind? Now it's your turn. Write a question that you have about the text. The question could be about the pages I just read, or it could be a question about another section of text too. Are you ready? Pause the video now to write your question about the text in your journal.
Okay, I want you to write one question that you have in your journal also.
Remember, friends, sometimes we can find answers to our questions by reading more of the text. So I am going to continue reading pages 10 and 11 to try and answer my question. Remember, my question was, what makes the wind? Listen carefully. All of the earth is surrounded by air. Earth and the air around it are heated by the sun, but some parts of the earth heat up more than other parts. In the tropical parts of Earth, near the equator, the sun's rays strike the earth directly. The air gets very hot. Near the Earth's icy poles, the sun's rays strike at a slant, so the air stays cooler. When hot air and cold air change places, wind is made. North Pole, South Pole, and equator. I think I heard something that could help me answer my question. Remember, my question was, what makes the wind? And on page 10, I saw a sentence that I think will help me answer my question. I learned that the wind is made when hot air and cold air change places. Now I'm going to keep reading to see if I can find out more about that. Listen as I read pages 12 and 13. Hot air is lighter than cold air, so hot air rises. People discovered this a long time ago and used hot air to make balloons float. The heated air in the balloons was lighter than the cooler air outside. The hot, light air made the balloons float upward. When heated air over the earth rises, cooler, heavier air rushes in to take its place. The moving air is wind. So this says that the wind is made when hot air rises or goes up and cool air comes in to take its place. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I found an answer to my question. Did you hear any answers to your question? If not, that's okay. We'll be rereading more of this text over the next few lessons, so keep listening closely. All right, awesome first graders. Nice job asking questions about a new text, and thinking about asking questions is important. Next time we'll continue with the text, Feel the Wind. But until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.
Okay. So let's stop sharing. Okay, friends. So So let's get back up to our board up here. All right, so let's move on. We are not going to look at the paintings today. We're going to kind of skip those and we're going to do those another time. So let's go on to our content framing question. What do I know, wonder about Feel the Wind? So we worked on answering that question today. Our fluency check-in. So let's look at our fluency. I'm going to share that with you. So our fluency is feel the wind. Let me move myself up. And move this down. Feel the Wind by Arthur Dorros. Wind is moving air. Air is what we breathe. It is everywhere around us. Even though we can't see it, we can't see air, and we can't really see wind, but we can see the wind move things. Wind pushes clouds across the sky. Wind flutters leaves of trees and makes ripples on the lake. So make sure that you're practicing that nightly, please. All right, so let's get back up to the board up here. So let's say the word powerful. Powerful. Might help if you can see it. There we go. Say the word powerful. Powerful, and have you guys whisper the first word that comes to mind. You think of powerful. You know what I think of powerful? Think of the Hulk. He's powerful. He's strong, right? Okay. So let's think about it. Not everybody come up with the Hulk. Somebody could have said a car. Somebody could have said maybe their dad or mom is powerful. We don't know, but everybody chose something different. So let's see what powerful is having the ability to use force. That is what powerful is. So how did the text say the wind was powerful? What did the wind do? Well, if we get back into our text, how was the wind powerful? It blew the clothes on the line, right? It blew kites. It made strange sounds in the house. It made leaves of trees flutter and ripples on lakes. Made things move. It moves hot air and cold air around to make the wind. Picks up hot air balloons and lifts them. So the wind is powerful in lots and lots of different ways. So let's think of things that we think are powerful, and let's put it on a list. What would be good examples of power? Something powerful. I think of, well, we could put the wind because we just talked about it. And I'm going to put the Hulk because I said Hulk. Something that's powerful would be storms are powerful. Maybe big Tonka trucks, like bulldozers, things like that. So tractors. Okay. What else could be powerful? The sun has powerful rays, right? Yes. Can you think of something else? Hurricanes are powerful. Let's think of one more that we could put up there, something that's powerful. What about Superman? Ooh, the ocean? I'll put Superman and the ocean. Oh yeah, the waves can be powerful. That's what Ms. Ray said. And I'm thinking, yes, they can, because if I stand in the ocean waves, they usually knock me over. They are powerful. Okay, so let's use one of these words. Like, for example, oceans are powerful because the waves can knock you over. Storms are powerful because they can uproot trees and they can take the power, like the electricity, away. Hurricanes are powerful because they can destroy a lot of things in its way. So how is the wind powerful? Think about it. Tell your learning partner beside you how the wind is powerful. Okay, guys, that is the end of this lesson. And I will see you back here tomorrow for lesson 3. Bye, guys.